Hello, welcome to a Skill Check for Positive Gaming podcast from YMCA Exeter. My name is Andy.
And my name is Becky.
And makes 2 episodes in 2 weeks. This is, a lot better than February ever was.
Yeah.
But good to see you.
Nice to see you again. Yeah.
And good to see you. And we should open this with a health warning.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
A apology.
Yeah.
There's a bit of kind of building work type stuff happening around.
It's really exciting building work.
Awesome.
That means that we are going to have our green screen back.
So if you watch the older episodes,
yeah.
it's older episodes.
Older episodes, yeah.
We see, sit facing the camera, we'd have funky kind of stuff behind us.
Beautiful. It was great.
We're trying to go back to that.
Yeah.
And we're trying to reinvent those glory days.
Yeah.
It's not happening yet.
But that's what
it's the process. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So what's coming up?
Yeah. So we're talking. You did. We're talking AI.
AI and
VR. And all those kind of big.
What's happening?
That's really exciting. We've got Andy's Game of the Week, in which you're talking.
Let's save that for later.
Okay, we're saving that later. But first we have
gaming news. And now, gaming news.
I'm gonna
what have you got for us this week?
So Fortnite, the first piece of gaming news, Fortnite creator Epic Games has shared that Apple has terminated its developer account, taking the dispute between the two companies to the next level. It's getting petty. The account was approved last month and would allow Epic Games to bring back games like Fortnite to iOS devices. Epic claimed that Apple terminating their account, which is based in Sweden, is in direct violation of the new EU Digital Markets Act.
Could be.
The DMA is designed to create more competition in the app stores by saying that operating systems must allow other app stores. Epic claims that Apple is undermining their ability to be a viable competitor, and they are showing the developers that what will happen when you try to compete with Apple or are critical of its practices.
So what this move by Apple, Epic are basically saying is that it's stalling their plans to have like an Epic Game Store on Apple devices.
Yeah.
Which is the reason why Epic are miffed.
Yeah.
At this.
Yeah. But basically the EU put in this law that says you have to have other app stores. So it was designed to stop the monopoly on app stores because so when you use an app store, if you buy an app, download an app, anything like that, a percentage of that sale goes to whoever's app store you download it from. So the idea is, and obviously with Apple, when you can only use Apple app stores, they can basically say, this is the amount we'll get from it, and you have to pay that because... Which is basically
the reason why Fortnite was originally pulled, because Epic wanted the money from Fortnite in-store purchases, and it all got messy.
Yeah. So now they've implemented this law, which means that now you at some point probably will be able to get things like Google Play on your iPhone, which is a new thing, and it's designed to create competition in order to bring the costs of people buying apps down, and also then it gets more.
I want to see a true Xbox Game Pass app on the phone. That's going to be how you get Candy Crush.
Yeah, it's a challenge. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I don't fully understand why Apple did it. There's something about Epic being non-trustworthy. I don't know.
I mean,
what grounds they say that?
It's really testing the law, isn't it? So I guess we'll see whether the EU then now pick up on it.
It's big boys basically playing the same old game of what can we get away with here, folks.
Basically. So we'll see, I guess. Yeah. Our next piece of gaming news is a Scottish college has become the first in the country to enter into a partnership with gaming giant PlayStation. North East Scotland College, or NESCL, is part of the PlayStation's first global academic scheme, which allows access to development tools, technology, and support from Sony. NESCL said that the course in Aberdeen and Fraserburgh, I might be saying that wrong, which start in the summer, could make careers in gaming industry a viable option for people in the area. Abertay University in Dundee, again, I'm probably saying that wrong, also has access to the program. The PlayStation's first scheme allows games to be made directly for the console, and students can use the same hardware the game studios use around the world. It's really
Alright.
cool. It sounds really cool.
3 things. 1, this sounds really cool.
Yeah.
2, obviously you're saying a lot of those names wrong because you're English.
Yes, and I'm not Scottish.
Exactly. And 3, this just is another kind of example of why gaming should be a thing that we encourage people to have an interest in. That there is a career there, there's an industry there, that if people have an interest in all things gaming and particularly in how games are made, why not?
It was a really interesting one when I was reading about it, because it's basically just giving the young people, and they're like college age, so they were 16, 17, 18, and then obviously at the university they'll be older. But it literally gives them the opportunity to use the same hardware as they use in the PlayStation, like when in the offices of the PlayStation and Sony, basically.
And that sounds like a massive opportunity.
Yeah, and a massive boost for them as well, as like people that are trying to make careers. If they've got knowledge or experience for using the software before they get to a point where they need a job, it gives them a lot of credibility in terms of like.
I mean, totally. I mean, if you're interested in that area and you see a toy associated with that area, and I mean toy in the most professional sort of regard, you know, a piece of equipment that is, because you don't use it every day, is cool. Well, you are going to be interested, you are going to want to use it, you are going to want to work towards being able to use it well.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see how. I'm sure we'll get to see if we ever find anyone that's like graduated or got through the program. It'd be really interesting to hear if they want to talk to us. Our final piece of gaming news is PlayStation has surpassed Nintendo Switch as the best-selling console of the year in 2023.
I mean,
it's the first time the PS5 has overtaken the sales of Nintendo Switch. In their annual report, the Digital Entertainment and Retail Association said over 1.2 million PS5s were sold in the UK in 2023. This is a rise of 55% from the previous year, with the console now taking up 57% of the total spend in the UK hardware market. The Switch sold 720,000 consoles in 2023, which is a drop of 17% year on year. Despite the slump in sales, it still managed to outsell the Xbox Series S and S. Overall, UK console sales were up by 10.8% over the previous year, with 2.6 million consoles being sold in total.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's put some context in around this.
Okay.
Which is, how long has the Switch been out for?
A while now.
7 years, he says. Watch for tone. Don't come at me if I've got it wrong.
Yeah.
PS5 had some pretty handsome games out over the last year or two. I mean, I'm not particularly. I've got machines that will play Game Pass at home. I've got a Switch at home. I've got a 360 at home. Convincing my wife to let me buy a PS5 is going to be a tall order.
Yeah.
But there are still some games on the horizon where I'm looking at it going, actually, I can sort of understand why people would get a PlayStation.
Yeah. Okay, so the Switch was released in 2017, so that is 7 years ago. Well done.
Check.
PlayStation was released in 2020, so again,
4
years old. Yeah.
So Switch is far older in its life cycle.
Yeah, but it's still for years it has outsold and sold. In fact, we've talked about this before, but PlayStation and Xbox don't count the Switch when they're counting who they're competing against, because it's a different kind of console. But it is really interesting to see that actually the Switch regularly, and this 2023 was the first year in the life cycle of the PS5 where it wasn't outsold by the Switch.
Yeah, and when you consider some of the games that you can get on the PlayStation and the Xbox, it's actually quite amazing that this hasn't happened before.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying not to talk about Survive. It's like, Survive.
It's a really interesting one. I've got a Switch, and I take it to events and stuff like that. And it's really interesting because as soon as people pick it up, they're like, oh, this is really great. I want one.
Yeah.
There's a surprising amount of people that have bought a Switch because I had a Switch, and I bought a Switch because work had a Switch and I really liked it. And then it is like my brother and his wife have got a Switch.
Versatility
It is literally like people will look up and go, oh, I love this.
Mm.
I love that you can like play on the big screen or the little screen. I love that my like sister-in-law will just sit in the corner and play on the Switch in the corner. Like it's totally being able to use it in different circumstances, in different ways. They play it together, they play it on their own. It's very like, yeah, it's amazing to be able to use it that way. And actually everybody that I know that's picked one up is like, these are great.
So basically, I guess what we're saying, to bring this to a close, Nintendo, we love the Switch.
We do love the Switch.
Please don't change it too much. Thank you.
And that's the end of gaming news.
So over Christmas, you had a bit of a moment.
Yeah.
Watching your nephew.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't take the video. My sister took the video and she sent it to us all on a WhatsApp group. But it's a really interesting video. So my nephew is 3. He's just turned 3. He's very cute. I love him so much. But he had a very interesting. He's just like, he's obviously getting to that stage where he's aware of stuff. But
and he wants to get involved.
Yeah, and wants to play and stuff like that as well. So over Christmas they have a VR headset and they put the VR headset onto my nephew, and there's a really cute video of him interacting with the stuff that he can see on the VR headset. It's really cute. But I also, it's really interesting to me to watch a 3-year-old put on the VR headset and understand that he can see the fish in the water and that he can see other things going on around him, like, and that he can see that, but that is in the headset and not in the in the world. And it's really interesting. And we kind of got talking off the back of me watching this video, and I thought this is really interesting about the fact that for him, this is the world that he knows. So like this will become the world that he knows. Like he's experienced VR already at the age of 3. And for us, like as older people, this is something that was brought in not that long ago.
Not really, yeah.
Like comparatively.
Yeah.
To everything else. This technology is fairly new. And so we're sort of learning how to use it. But for him, it's like an inbuilt language.
He's coming into it. I mean, what we're saying literally just before we hit record is that a lot of our young people that we work with here, VR is still almost a novelty in that it's quite a new thing.
Yeah.
So to see your nephew with the headset on and he's going to grow up into that world. That's going to be where he's at.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's some things around like language and stuff like that, and how digital technology uses the same sort of brain cells as language, and it's like a learned language. And actually, like we, like a lot of like internet use and stuff like that, we had to sort of go, okay, how do we use this? Whereas for them, it becomes an inbuilt thing of like, actually, this is just something they grow up using. In the same way that if somebody was bilingual and they spoke 2 languages when they were really little, it becomes much easier to pick up the language when you're little than it is when you're older. And so it just becomes part of your natural like body. Like
it's just what you expect, isn't it? And I think it's probably important to note that we're talking about your nephew a lot, 3 years old. I am 100% certain that it was literally just trying it out.
Yes.
There was no long-term use or anything like that.
No.
That we're not talking about that here. We're not talking about kids and VR in that sort of way.
Yeah.
Because we get that
we're not thinking
developmental, physical, with screens literally right in front of you. But we're talking about the world that they are growing up in too, and how that is going to look.
Yeah, and actually what difference it makes them. So they're like, so we kind of mentioned a bit like that we're going to talk about VR and AI, because actually the world that they are going to grow up in is very different from the one that we grew up in.
Yeah.
And a lot of it will be built into their world. So the stuff that they're using, like he was using a big old VR PlayStation headset, and it's an old version of the PlayStation VR. And it's like they were doing very simplistic. They weren't like doing anything really complicated. They were trying to get a 3-year-old to do something. I was just looking at fishes. That's what I was doing. And it wasn't. He worked never for long. I don't think they're very careful. I'm just caveat that heavily with my sister. Very
well, definitely growing up in town. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember once upon a time that whenever we saw VR headset, it was a thing you'd see on TV.
Yeah.
Probably at a exhibition that the cameras got to go along to. The VR headset was a massive thing, and they probably had to stand in this kind of square with maybe a few sensors and things like that. It was a ginormous thing that was just no way available to the general public.
Yeah.
At all. It just wasn't going to happen.
They kept saying it will never catch on. That's what they kept saying.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, oh, it'll never catch on.
But that is, I guess, the point that we might come back to later in that some technology doesn't.
Yeah.
Or some technology doesn't catch on then and then comes back.
Yeah.
Thinking mostly of do you remember the Google Glass?
Yeah.
With those kind of glasses
they did not catch on.
They looked a bit weird. But you could like
you had a little screen on your glasses.
Very much kind of augmented reality stuff. Almost sounds a bit like the Apple headset. And I've not played the new Meta 3 yet either, but I'm not surprised if I think the Meta 3 does bits like that as well.
It's a really interesting one. I definitely think it's a different. Well, and we talked a bit before about how we are blurring the lines between reality and digital world. So in young people now, there's lots of research. There's kind of 2 or 3 bits of research that come out very recently around how their digital life and their normal life, there's no separation between them. So for us, digital world, online, we do stuff differently. We respond differently to things than how we respond to things in real life. For them, there's no difference. So who they are online is still who they are in reality. Yeah, and I think that is the kind of way that as we continue to see changes in technology and in gaming and whatever kind of thing, actually this is going to be their life. They're going to grow up in this world where this is just normal for them. So using a VR headset for my 3-year-old nephew when he grows up will be completely normal. That's just what
normal life is like.
Yeah.
And I imagine there's going to be people who would be kind of kicking back against that. Because you have that with every stage of tech.
Yeah.
So TV sets, for example.
Yeah.
There's probably what was it that people used to say? Oh, don't sit too close to that, you get square eyes.
Square eyes, yeah.
Don't hear that anymore because everyone has a flipping TV.
Yeah.
Sets.
Yeah, do you think, I'd be interested to know if there's anyone that when TVs were invented were like, it will never catch on. I wonder if that's like a thing. I'm sure there are somewhere.
Sure.
We'd be interested to know if they thought that TV and all of the technology advances that we've had over the last sort of 100 years, whether there's moments where they've gone, everyone's gone.
I guess historically speaking, if you look at almost the printed press, you had people kind of kicking off that you were making things accessible to people, where actually up until then people had to be taught it.
Yeah.
Whilst now people can go away and read it for themselves. Is that allowed?
Yeah.
So there's going to be people kicking off against it, but I don't know. I don't want to say that happens anyway.
Yeah.
But historically speaking, but technology doesn't take off unless there's a want for it.
Yeah.
And unless I guess also unless it fulfills a need as well. Like Google Glass.
Yeah.
For example, that was quite a big tech story 5 years ago. No, longer than that.
It was a huge story. Yeah.
And
they were like, "This is going to be the future," and it just disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess my point is that if people don't want this, this will go away. Not saying that VR or AI will. That's all.
Yeah, I think also it's interesting to note that we have to change the way that we operate in terms of I saw this really cool thing that there was a guy that went into a school in Finland, I think it was, or Sweden, one of them, one of the sort of Scandinavian countries anyway. And they were using Minecraft in the lessons because they don't. So their schooling is very different. They are like, I think it must have been Finland, and they're one of the best schooling nations in the world. And he went there to see what they're doing, and the kids were just there on Minecraft. Like, and they were learning through Minecraft, and they were doing stuff on the board in Minecraft. And actually, I was like, that's a great way of engaging the kids to do stuff. Like, if that's, and they were all learning. They weren't just like playing Minecraft.
And that's a great example of using the equipment, the tools available to teach.
And things that are, you can relate to the people that you're teaching. Like, the young people all knew what Minecraft was, and they can all operate Minecraft.
Yeah.
And so actually, all they did was go, actually, how do we relate this? And I think maybe it'll be the same with VR, like an AI, actually. It's how do we use them as tools to help young people relate to what they're trying to teach them, or what they're trying to learn, or even just connect with them through like things at youth club. We're always trying to like look at how we connect with young people in youth club through this kind of stuff. So yeah,
and I think a lot of this goes down to how do we reconnect with people. How can we connect with people better, and how can the technology help us do that? I'm in two minds whether to mention this or not, so I'm just going to jump in and go for it. There is, I don't remember the name of the country in Asia, but they're basically, there's now funds available for, I'm going to say those of the older persuasion.
Go with that, it's much more diplomatically correct.
Of age range, I might be included. To basically go back to college.
Wow.
And do courses in AI.
Wow. Amazing.
And learn about it. And their thinking about it is that it will help equip and educate the nation in general for future technologies.
Yeah.
Also, it enriches the education process for the kind of 18 to 19-year-olds to be sat there with older people.
Yeah. Really good.
Which sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Can I share a few tips?
Sure.
About all of this, in case you are kind of listening to us going, "Oh, that's all very well."
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. Tip number one is to actually learn it. And get involved.
Use it. Yeah.
One of the best pieces of advice I've ever heard about using VR is to try and use it on a regular basis if you can. The guy that said it, I think, said something about using it for 15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, confession corner, I don't do that. But yeah, that doesn't take anything away from the fact that I think that's a pretty sound piece of advice. If you don't have a VR headset, if you don't have access to a VR headset, I completely get it. They are ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
You can get kind of cheaper models, or even if you don't want to go there, don't shy away from the opportunity to try it out if you were to see one. And I guess I'd say something very similar with AI, in that there are kind of free packages that you can use. ChatGPT does have a free package.
Okay.
I would say though, be careful how you use AI. Don't get it to do your work.
Don't plagiarize. It will be cast as plagiarism.
Exactly. Yep. Don't get it to draw you photos and has to offer your own work.
Yeah.
Adobe Photoshop, very good piece of software anyway. Over the last year or two, time has no meaning since COVID, has got an AI element in there where you can like select areas and say, I'd like to have a tent in the middle of the street now, please. And it looks very good.
Okay.
When we use it, we made a point of saying we use AI to visualize this.
Yeah.
Because it does look very good. Just don't get in the habit of using it and calling it your own work.
Yeah.
It's very good as a kind of sounding board, I guess, or you're doing a starting point. Yeah. You want to do a bit of work. you want to see another viewpoint, or you want to get it to do like a little bit of coding perhaps, and then you can finish off the names of variables and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, do a bit of research into it, see what it can do. Because it's quite cool.
Yeah.
But I'm very techie, so
and I will say, as a youth worker, it's really good this is my like thing that I would like as a takeaway is to just be open to the stuff that's going to happen, because I think like it would be really easy, and even for my job, this is coming from me as well, it'd be really easy to just go, I'm not going to try and get into it because it sounds risky. But actually, the more you can use it, the more you can get used to it, the better it will be for your kids and young people, because you will have an understanding of it as well as them, and you'll be able to help them in learning what they need to learn, and be able to understand that where they're coming from in the perspective of using this technology. And now it's time for Andy's Game of the Week. Andy, what is your game this week? Your face says it all.
Well, every generation, into every generation, a well-loved cartoon character is born.
Okay.
A well-loved cartoon character that parents seem to love.
Okay.
Or hate. Today, we're talking Bluey.
Oh, okay. Yep.
For what it's worth, I don't know what's happening this week. I think it's possibly kind of still kind of post-COVID-y.
Yeah. Okay.
My head's kind of all over the place. That's my official party line.
Tell me it's a Bluey game and not just watching Bluey on the TV.
It is a Bluey video game, but for what it's worth, the TV show is not bad.
Okay.
It's incredibly well written.
It's Australian, right?
I think, yes, it is, but it's some sort of Disney Plus BBC co-production.
I don't have kids, so I have no idea.
Yeah, that is understandable.
Yeah.
So basically, if you're aware, Bluey is a cartoon show on kids' TV shows, featuring
a blue dog.
A blue dog called Bluey.
Yeah.
In a family, and they have adventures like going to the park, or going to the creek, or a pigeon that that dies.
Lovely.
That's my point. Every now and then they do like a really heartfelt story, and there's actually the occasional episode where you're there thinking, where it doesn't delve into it in any detail, but it kind of gives enough information to break parents' hearts a bit. In that, actually, hang on, are they talking about this? Are they going there? Kids are there loving it. They're like, oh, Mum's a bit sad in the episode.
Yep.
And they move on really quickly, and it's all laughs and giggles, whilst the parents there going, no way. Hello, welcome to the Bluey Thank You podcast. But, so the video game. Why am I playing? Why did I end up playing the video game in the first place? Basically, my daughter wanted company over bedtime, and she found me on the Xbox. Well, I can't remember what I was playing now, but it wasn't a child-friendly game, let's say. And I was like, well, I wanted to play something, and I wanted to play something that I had some sort of interest in, that I wanted to at least see what it was like, and find out a bit more about it. So I wasn't just playing a video game because, well, that's what I was doing. I'm trying to keep her happy. But somehow I went from there to watching Bluey. Yeah. So that's my defense.
Okay.
Probably spent far too long defending my life.
You're trying to play Bluey.
It is an incredibly simple game. It's a story of Bluey told in 4 parts. Four different levels. There's different activities. You're controlling one of the main characters around it. It is designed to be a kids game. It's probably designed to be a kids first game.
Yeah.
So if you are a parent with a kid, especially a younger kid, this could be the game that's worthwhile checking out. Especially if you've got Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
Because you've got it sat there anyway.
Yeah.
It's also available pretty much everywhere. PlayStation 4, 5, Switch, Xboxes.
Yeah.
Apparently you can get it on a Microsoft Windows system as
Nice.
well. If that's on Steam or Epic, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yes, that is Bluey, and I have probably less cool than anyone ever possibly imagined.
I mean, you're heading that way. Yeah. Well, in that note,
very dad gamer.
That's all we've got time for this week. Please do find us on all our social medias at YMCA Exeter and at YMCA Exeter Games. If you're not watching us on YouTube, find us on YouTube, because you can find us you can see our lovely faces. And we will see you next week. Bye.